And there would already be concerns about transparency, rule of law in Saudi Arabia, from a year ago when they detained, several hundred people at the Ritz-Carlton 1 week after the Future Investment Forum. So there had been lingering concerns about the stability of Saudi Arabia, a safe place for business, even a year ago. And now with this latest incident, I think that is only escalating concerns about the country.
How much does this have to do with the fact that the Crown Prince is trying to establish his authority, consolidate his power at this point, and he doesn't have a lot of seasoning when it comes to leadership?
I mean, he is a very young leader. I mean, we used to joke for Saudi Arabia that 70 would be young. I mean, he's 33 years old. He has consolidated a lot of power in a short period of time. There has been criticism of his policies, not just what happened at the Ritz, but the war in Yemen, the issues about some of the drivers being detained, Canada. So there have been concerns about his...
And at the same time, it's clear that he doesn't have utter and complete control because his wings got clipped on the IPO
of Aramco. But he has, I mean, what's been interesting about Mohammed bin Salman is you have all of these things that give investors concern, and then you look at what he's done on the social front. So people applaud what he has done in allowing women to drive, removing the restrictions on gender so that men and women can be together at things like the movie theaters. So you have this sense that there was social reform, but against a backdrop of potentially more political repression.
It sure feels as though, and I'm not the Middle East expert you are here, it sure feels as though the Crown Prince, Mohammed bin Salman, took a lot of leash. And is there a sense right now that the elders outside of the king in the kingdom feel as though Mohammed bin Salman maybe overstepped his bounds and they're going to try to rein him in at some point?
I mean, Jamal Khashoggi, I think, will be probably a very important red line, because while he was a critic of Mohammed bin Salman, he was loyal to the Saudi monarchy. And he had worked, for example, for Prince Turki Al Faisal, who had been head of Saudi intelligence, the Saudi ambassador to Washington. And so he was somebody who retained, strong relations in the kingdom, even though he was living in the United States for a year. So I do think there'll be concern in some quarters about what does this mean for has he hurt brand Saudi?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we know how ambitious he is on a global basis. So if people are, I mean, this is just one incident now of this conference where other sponsors, CNBC is not the only one that's walked away. Other sponsors have walked away as well. And one of their spokespeople said today, it will still go on. But you have to wonder at what point does the Crown Prince have to start to rethink his strategy if his standing with the business community globally starts to deteriorate.
Because that is his case to be king. I mean, I was there last year, and he gave this incredible speech about talking about taking Saudi back to pre-1979, about a new chapter in the country. And there was a tremendous goodwill for him in the business community, both at home and abroad. And I think how does he manage this now is going to be critical for his viability.
We have to talk about the potential for sanctions because it's been brought up. Bob Corker has already said that the Senate will move on this front. How would that affect business in the kingdom?
I mean, Saudi Arabia, where does the U.S. sell its weapons? The largest consumer of U.S. weapons is Saudi Arabia. President Trump was asked about this. He basically said, look, I don't want to put hundreds of millions of dollars of arms sales at risk. But, you have Bob Corker, you have Lindsey Graham, an hour ago was on air basically saying, look, this will destroy the U.S.-Saudi relationship if these allegations are true. So this is a very important issue. Billions of dollars in weapon sales potentially could be blocked by the U.S. Congress if the allegations prove to be true.